Hello and welcome to the latest Health and Safety Matters podcast. My name is Mark Sennett. I'm the CEO of Western Business Media, which is the publisher of Health and Safety Matters. And as always, this podcast is sponsored by the Health and Safety event. Now, if you're not familiar with the Health and Safety event by now, I'm a little bit surprised because we always mention it in the podcast, and as the UK's biggest health and safety show now, and it takes place next time. It will take place in Birmingham NEC on the 30th of April through to the 2nd of May. It's completely free to attend, and if you go, you also get access to the fire safety event, the workplace event, and the security event. So you can register to attend the event now. To register your interest, you go to healthandsafetyevent.com. If you can't remember that, go to search engine Health and Safety Event and up it pops, and it is a great place for you to go to get CPD seminars and see the biggest exhibition on health and safety in the UK. So our thanks to Health and Safety Event for continuing to sponsor this podcast. Now, also, as I always say, you don't have to wait for this podcast to get the latest health and safety news. You can go to our website at any time, which is www.hsmsearch.com. If you can't remember that, go to search engine and search Health and Safety Matters. Now, what do you get when you get to the website? You see all the latest news, prosecutions and products and services updated daily. You can sign up to get our twice-a-week e-newsletter along with 54,000 other of your peers who get it twice a week. You can also look at all of our upcoming CPD webinars and we'll watch all of our back archive of webinars on demand for free by clicking on the webinars tab. You can also sign up to get copies of the magazine for free, including the annual BSIF guide, which we're working on right now, the BSIF guide to UK health and safety. So do go to hsmsearch.com for all of that for free, or follow us on X or follow us on LinkedIn, and you can see all the latest news, prosecutions and products and services through there as well. So, right, well, we always start with the news, and what have I got for you this month? Well, I thought I would circle back to HSE's Dust Kills campaign. We've covered this before, but a snapshot of good and bad practices on how workers' exposure to dust is being managed and controlled on construction sites across Great Britain has been revealed as some initial findings or updated findings from HSE's Dust Kills campaign. So as part of its business plan, the Health and Safety Executive carried out more than 1,000 inspections between May and July this year, focusing on what businesses and workers were doing to prevent or adequately control the risks from construction dust. And this is something that we've covered a lot. We've also covered dust and silica dust, etc. On webinars, which I would urge you to go to on the webinars tab of our website. So HSE's Dust Kills campaign supported the site inspections, which raised awareness of the inspections, provided helpful advice, information and links to guidance for employers and workers. Almost 2 million connections were made to the campaign via social media channels, alongside extensive stakeholders and press coverage, which obviously we're adding to here. So if we talk about what the HSE did and found here, they revealed some examples of good practice on sites within companies. And what they found, and some of the good practices included the use of motorised water suppression alongside face-fit tested FFP3 respiratory protective equipment to reduce exposure to silicosis and lung cancer, causing respirable crystalline silica, which is RCS. There was also air-fed hoods or powered air respirators being used when using high-powered cutting saws during carpentry to prevent exposure to asthma, which can be caused by wood dust. And also the inclusion of details of HSE's campaign within the company's health, safety, environmental newsletters to raise awareness of the effects of dust exposure is some of the many good things that they have found as examples of visiting these sites. However, HSE inspectors also found many poor examples of, poor practice rather than good practice. And this included no on-tool extraction in place on high-powered cutting saws that generate silica or wood dust, along with poorly maintained extraction equipment such as hoses units, making it ineffective. Suitable RPE not being made available on site for workers to use, or making it available but not ensuring it is used, and the health and safety workers not being considered when carrying out the simplest of tasks such as sweeping up indoors, which requires damping down to control the dust generated, and the provision of suitable face-fit tested RPE. So a key area of concern for a regulator is that inspectors are still finding sites where the hierarchy of controls are simply not considered at all, where no effective design or planning is taking place to eliminate risks from dust, such as considering the use of pre-cut materials, and nothing being in place to minimise the risk of use of suitable control measures such as water suppression and on-tool extraction and the use of RPE. So just to round off this story, and I would urge you to read it in full on our website, hsmsearch.com. We've got a little search box there. If you type Dust Kills campaign, you'll see a story titled Early Foundings from HSE's Dust Kills campaign, and there is the article in full. But a comment here from HSE's acting head of construction division, Mike Thomas. He said, every year we're seeing construction workers die from these diseases caused or made worse by their work because the necessary precautions required to protect their long-term lung health have not been taken by employers and workers themselves. 1,000+ inspections were completed, and they took across a range of construction sites. Some examples of good practice found on site during the campaign are really pleasing. But as can be seen by some of the poor practices found by our inspectors, where planning around the risk of dust controls to prevent exposure are not even considered, it shows there's still plenty of room for improvement. So, yeah, a really interesting update to this. It's good to see plenty of good practices being found by inspectors, but obviously concerning that you're still seeing bad practices on there. The HSE, they often go through spells being very, very proactive, and obviously 1,000 inspections between May and July is a lot, and it's good to see them feeding back some of the findings that they've had, and there's obviously still more that people need to learn on it. So moving on to our next story, which is titled Frontline Workers Face Monthly Operational Issues. So this is new research that's revealed deskless workers, which are now the majority of employees in the UK, face regular operational issues, compounding doubts about business performance. 2/3, which is 65% of frontline workers, say they observe operational issues monthly and more frequently, yet less than half, 45%, see actions taken to address them within this time frame. So the feedback from the field report, which has been undertaken by global technology company Safety Culture, paints a picture of UK businesses being held back by ongoing operational challenges. Its finding, which is informed by a YouGov-wide survey of frontline workers, shows that 9 in 10, which is 87%, believe that the businesses they're working in are failing to operate at its full potential or they're unsure about its performance. In addition to ineffective management, which is cited by 42% of frontline workers as a key reason for the business failing to maximise their full potential, respondents also flagged inadequate communication, 39% did that, and training for staff as barriers, and 31% highlight that as a barrier. 3 in 10 say the last time they had valuable training from their organisation that helped improve their work was a year or more ago. Concerningly, 13% of UK frontline workers feel that they've never had any valuable training from their organisation at all. So the consequences of a lack of training are laid bare in the report. More than half, so 54% of those surveyed, believe that at least a few of their workers' injuries could have been prevented had those involved received better training and work instruction. Safety remains a top priority for frontline workers despite the cost of living crisis. 70% say they would prioritise their safety over higher salaries if they were to seek a new role. So commenting on this report, there's a comment in this article from Safety Culture's General Manager, Fico Mole. And Fico says, deskless workers are the lifeblood of the UK economy, powering some of our most essential industries. We must listen to them. Our report shows how operational issues are regularly observed by workers on the front line, but not always addressed. Too often, frontline workers' views are overlooked, and the areas that could be improving operations, such as investment in technology, have been focused on office-based workers. The good news is that it's not all doom and gloom, and with 3 in 5 workers we asked saying that they're optimistic about the future of their organisation. We share their optimism, and with the right tools of communication, manufacturers can harness the latest potential within their frontline teams. So, yeah, you can have a look at this story online. It's an ever-evolving beast where people are working these days. More and more are based at home. I've seen that within my own organisation, and communication is absolutely key. One of our biggest concerns is that workers do get dispirited when they're remote because they're not in touch day to day with everything that's going on. So, we have regular group Teams calls. We still do have catch-ups in the office. We do update monthly emails on performance of the business and what's new. And, speaking to people in teams and having Teams groups and getting them to come into the office when they can do to meet up with their peers, or something about trying to help our staff feel fully involved. They don't have that anxiousness about what's going on within the business. That was our biggest concern during lockdown, was that people would feel isolated. It was a big concern for many of you. Obviously, in our situation, we're not a manufacturer. We're not, we've not got frontline workers, risking their lives doing anything, and it's not a day-to-day health and safety issues working within our office, although we are fully risk assessed, thankfully. But it's those situations where training is important, and that's one of the biggest aspects of health and safety, is making sure staff are properly trained and suitably equipped to do their jobs. So that is an interesting finding for me, that some people have never had training at all on health and safety, and when you're working in potentially dangerous premises, that's something that you would expect to see. So moving on to next story we've got now, and this is all about the new IOSH President Elect, who is Kelly Nichol. So Kelly Nichol will be taking over the role for the end of 2023 into 2024 as IOSH President on the 15th of November, not long after we have recorded this podcast. So she's outlined her aims of what she hopes to do in post, and she says she aims to continue to champion members with a focus on supporting and celebrating IOSH volunteers, while also highlighting the importance of physiosocial safety and coaching. So commenting on her aims and her appointment, Kelly said, "It's an honour and a real career highlight to be nominated as President-elect. I will wholeheartedly support Stuart Hughes in his presidential year, and also work closely with him and the wider presidential team to build on the work to strengthen the IOSH Council." Kelly is currently the head of Environment, Health and Safety at Doncaster Culture and Leisure Trust. In 15 years as an IOSH professional, Kelly has worked in industries including rail, facilities management, the NHS, construction and events broadcasting. She's held various roles, volunteering roles for IOSH, including a member of the Thames Valley Branch Committee and as a mentor as a member of its council. So away from IOSH, she also represents the Health and Safety or a Special Education Trust in Doncaster, and is a board member of the Recovery Coach Academy, which delivers coaching for people recovering from addiction. So this is, obviously every year we get a new president-elect of IOSH, and, Kelly is the next president-elect. And as we always say on here, we wish Kelly all the best of luck. IOSH have been a big supporter of health and safety matters. They often speak at our events and other events where we organise content, and I'm very much hoping to work closely with Kelly again over the coming year. So she's just added on this that no one should go to work and not come home safely, and that's something that we obviously echo here. This sentiment became more personal after experiencing the aftermath of fatality at work, Kelly says, and this phase has become a driving force behind everything I've done within my career and at my time at IOSH. As the next president-elect, I look forward to continuing to give back to our membership and our profession and championing my belief that everyone gets home. So she's president-elect from November, and she will then take over as president in November 2024. And we wish Kelly all the best in her new role. So speaking of events in the sector, there is another one coming up very, very soon, and it's our own. And hopefully, if you're listening to this, you will hear it before the 16th of November. Because on the 16th of November, Health and Safety Matters will be running its first event at Health and Safety Matters Live Scotland at the Edinburgh International Conference Centre. As I said, on the 16th of November 2023. It's completely free to attend, and you can register for free at hsmlive.co.uk. That is hsmlive.co.uk. We've got 2 theatres of content running concurrently, and there's also a co-located NEBOSH Sustainability conference going on at the same venue. It's completely free to attend, free lunch, free Wi-Fi, free teas and coffees throughout the day, and we've got an exhibition of some of the leading manufacturers and products and services in the sector. We've got sessions being delivered by the Health and Safety Executive, the British Safety Industry Federation. We've got a mock trial being delivered by DAC Beechcroft on actual Scottish case law based on a real-life prosecution, where you, the audience, will be the jury. They're always brilliant sessions. That's the very last session of the day. We've got excellent sessions on hand protection, respiratory protection, all things PPE, head protection, safety culture, the latest update on health and safety regulations. There is safety knives and ensuring you don't suffer cut risks. Fit testing is on there as well. I mean, it goes on and on. There is 20 sessions for you to choose from across 2 theatres. So I would strongly urge you to come to the event. It's completely free. Please do come along. Register at hsmlive.co.uk. Another event that is upcoming, and it's not far away now, is the 23rd and 24th of January 2024, which is SHW Live, Safety, Health and Wellbeing Live, which takes place at Manchester Central. And HSM is putting on the content for that event for all of the theatres. Again, completely free to attend. There's a major exhibition there alongside it, and it's the only dedicated event in Manchester for health and safety. You can just search the search engine Safety, Health and Wellbeing Live, or go to the website safetyhealthwellbeing.live, and you can register completely for free. We've got, again, sessions there from the Health and Safety Executive. We've got other sessions on stay-put policies. Are they suitable during an evacuation? We've got a driver safety session for Driving for Better Business from Simon Turner at Driving for Better Business. There's sessions from IOSH and the British Safety Council. There's a Home Office address on UK fire safety. There is so much on there. Falls from Height, a panel session there. There is ESG and sustainability in the OSH sector being delivered by NEBOSH, and NEBOSH are doing other sessions in there as well. So identifying the role of the responsible person is another section, a panel session there, which will be really interesting as well. So it's well worth coming along. I'll be there, much like I will be for HSM Live Scotland. So please do come across to the HSM stand at SHW Live, Safety, Health, Wellbeing Live, because it would be really great to catch up with you. Now, it's also worth saying, and this is something that I think I mentioned on the last podcast, but we have now opened entries for the Safety and Health Excellence Awards after a record amount of entries last year. It's completely free to enter. Throw into a search engine Safety and Health Excellence Awards, or go to www.she-awards.com, and there are some fantastic categories there. I would strongly urge you to enter, because it's the perfect way to get yourself, a team member, your team, your organisation, a product, a project, a campaign recognised by your peers. It isn't me that picks the shortlist or the winners. That's all done by independent judges, I can assure you. And the categories include the Unsung Hero Award, Best Health and Safety in Manufacturing, Best Health and Safety Project, Health and Safety Manager of the Year, Campaign of the Year, Team of the Year, Sustainable Company of the Year. And there's also the Inclusivity Award, which is a brand new category to recognise health and safety organisation that can demonstrate it's taken steps to be an equal opportunity employer. There's the Rising Star Award, Safer Logistics Awards, the Woman of the Year Award, which was incredibly popular last year, Marketing Campaign of the Year, Distributor of the Year, Best Driver Risk Management Performance, and also a really well entered category last year was the best use of health and safety data to lower incident rates. So please do enter. They're completely free to enter. You've got until February to do so. It's she-awards.com. So, final bit of news, really, is some news on awards. And I'm really proud to say that my company, Western Business Media, which is a publisher of HSM, as you know, has been shortlisted for 10 industry awards ourselves. And why am I telling you this? Well, it's relevant to HSM. So, yes, we entered 10 times, and thankfully we got shortlisted 10 times. And the ones I'll tell you about are the ones that are relevant to you guys. Health and Safety Matters has been shortlisted for Media Brand of the Year at the PPA Independent Publishers Awards. That's the main publishing awards for the publishing sector and independent publishers like ourselves. Also, the Safety and Health Excellence Awards, which we were just talking about, was nominated for Event of the Year because we sold out 750 people. It was a great night. Tess Daly was the host, and we had, well over 200 entries. It was incredible. In addition to that, the BSIF Guide to UK Safety has been shortlisted for Commercial Partnership of the Year as well. Alongside our sister title, Fire Safety Matters, which has been shortlisted for Business Publication of the Year and Media Brand of the Year. So it goes head-to-head with HSM, funnily enough, on there. Amongst others, we've now been, in the last 3 years, nominated for 36 industry awards. And thankfully, we've had that many shortlisted, and we've managed to win 3, which we're incredibly proud of. And for us, this is important to share with you because this is your publication, Health and Safety Matters. We're keen on your feedback. We always want to improve the publication. Our audience is growing. The engagement is bigger than it's ever been before, whether it's been in print, our website, e-newsletters, webinars. But hopefully this shows you that we're being independently recognised for our commitment to trying to create the best platform and publication for health and safety that we possibly can. And we can't do that without you. Without you guys listening to this podcast, getting the magazine, interacting with it, and obviously interacting with the people that advertise in it, which keeps this free for you. I have a business with my business partners, and for that I'm very grateful for. And we literally can't be shortlisted or do what we do without your engagement, and it does really mean a huge deal to us. So thank you, and a huge thank you also to our advertisers and our sponsors who allow us to keep the power on every month and pay the bills, and this is really for them and also for you. And fingers crossed when they announce the winners on the 24th of November in London that we might be lucky. But like with our awards, Safety and Health Excellence Awards, I'm proud just to be shortlisted. That was all I could have hoped for from this. Anything better is a bonus, and that's exactly why I'd encourage all of you to enter the Safety and Health Excellence Awards, because if you can get shortlisted and recognised by your peers, there's nothing quite like it for that validation and that sense of how well your organisation's going. So thank you to the judges, and thank you to all of you. Now, that's it from the news on this edition of the podcast. And as I said, you don't have to wait for this podcast to come out to see your latest news. You can go to our website, hsmsearch.com, follow us on X or LinkedIn, or you can sign up to our newsletter, as I've said before. So if you can't remember the web address, hsmsearch.com, just throw into a search engine, Health and Safety Matters, and up we come. So now the last part of the podcast is always an interview with a guest, and I'm delighted to be joined this time by Alan Murray. Now, you'll know Alan as the CEO of the British Safety Industry Federation. We do talk about the BSIF in this, but actually that isn't why I got Alan onto the onto the podcast this time. BSIF are actually part of a new alliance that's been formed, which is a Health and Safety Alliance, to bring together a number of health and safety associations, organisations together as a lobbying voice. And the name of this new alliance is, the full name of it is the Occupational Safety and Health Stakeholder Alliance. And as I said, BSIF were one of the founding members of this. So I sat down with Alan earlier, and he gives us an insight to what the Occupational Safety and Health Stakeholder Alliance is about and what it hopes to achieve. Morning, Alan. How are you?
Very well, Mark. And you?
Yeah, good to see you. It's been a while since we've had you on the podcast, and got a different topic. Normally we'd have you here under your BSIF hat, but we're not today. We're talking about something new, and it's the Occupational Safety and Health Stakeholder Alliance, isn't it? This is something that BSIF have been integral in setting up. Can you tell us a bit more about what the alliance is, please?
Yeah, before I do, I think I have to give credit to NEBOSH and their former chief exec, Chris Payne, who was the prime motivator in putting it together with meetings that started way back in, 2022, I guess. And
what is the aim of the alliance?
Well, quite simply, the aim of the alliance is for, I suppose, respected bodies in the marketplace, the real stakeholders, to be able to provide one authoritative voice on specific topics as they come up. The alliance is really a collaboration of leading health and safety organisations, in this case uniting to promote better safety, health and well-being for everyone.
And can you tell me some of the other organisations that are involved in the alliance?
Yeah, sure. So in addition to BSIF, we obviously have NEBOSH, as I mentioned earlier. We have ROSPA, we have IIRSM, we have British Safety Council, British Occupational Hygiene Society, IOSH are in there, CIEH are in there, Chartered Institute of Environmental Health. They all signed together a memorandum of understanding in May this year. Then in July, the Chartered Institute of Ergonomic and Human Factors joined. And there are others in the waiting room. So it's meant to be an inclusive collaboration of the stakeholders.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to ask you, is this something that you see could grow to encompass other membership bodies or associations or stakeholders in the sector? And clearly, not that you want to give too much away, there's others in the wings, and it is something that you would like to see potentially expand where, if there's interest, it's relevant.
100%, Mark. I also didn't mention that the Health and Safety Executive are involved. Now, the Health and Safety Executive's involvement is obviously somewhat limited on the basis that they are a government agency and can't take a position most of the time. But they are keen to be part of the general movement, and they help the alliance itself to be better informed, I suppose, and to keep on track.
And is there a chairperson of the group? Is there a figurehead?
Yes, so the current chairperson of the group is John Gill, who's also the executive chairman of BSIF.
And, I'm not sure if you're in a position to share this yet, but is there any short-term objectives, anything that you're working on at the moment as an organisation?
Yeah, great question. The organisations, if you think about who they are and the different structures, and some are professional bodies, and by professional bodies I mean serving the career interests of some of their members as well as the greater good. Some of it can be not in any way conflicting, but to get a common challenge that people want to face. And the common challenge of mental health and well-being is the one that we're currently working through. Now, if you look at the numbers from the Health and Safety Executive, the number of lost days at work through mental health and stress and anxiety, it fully justifies that as a common initiative for us.
It's worth saying, actually, that John Gill will be delivering a presentation on the Alliance and its ambitions at Safety, Health and Wellbeing Live in Manchester in January 2024 in the Keynote Theatre. It's completely free to attend that. Just throw into Google or a search engine Safety, Health and Wellbeing Live, and you can register, and that'll be a session I would definitely urge you to attend. I mean, Alan, in a different guise, I sit as a member of the Fire Sector Federation, which is a very similar concept over in the fire safety side. And this is something that when we've talked about this off air over recent months, I can tell that you've got a real passion for, and BSIF have been key, along with NEBOSH and others, of getting this off the ground. You've always been good at looking ahead, and I can tell you're really interested and excited about this. Do you have any aspirations of where you think this group could ultimately go to? That's a loaded question, but I thought it was one that you might enjoy.
It's a really loaded question. I can't speak too comprehensively about that sort of thing. One of the things that we noticed very clearly during the pandemic was the government really, I felt anyway, didn't know where to go to for answers to specific questions. And I said at the top of this discussion that the idea is that there's one authoritative voice that people can go to for information, when these situations occur. And in many ways, the collaboration and the stakeholder alliance has to exist in order for that facility to be available. So in many ways, it's something that will work hard on specific topics, but a key part of it is that it exists for when the challenges and the difficulties come.
And I think for the sake of clarity, what we're saying here, a key part of what the Alliance is going to be set up for is lobbying and working with government, isn't it? That's going to be a key focus of the group.
That's going to be one of the focuses of the group. And earlier this year, the group were communicating with different government departments on the retained EU law challenges. If you recall, they were going to sunset some 5,000 different pieces of legislation post-EU. And some of those were very good pieces of legislation that had in fact emanated in the UK. And we were able to put forward some very good common sense arguments to to the departments, and we now know that initiative has somewhat sidelined.
And just to round off this, Alan, is there anything else that you would, because this is a big part of the Alliance's job over the coming weeks and months, is to raise awareness about its aims, objectives, and settle into place. And we've got this platform here through HSM. Is there anything else you would like to share about the Alliance that you don't think we've covered today?
There's a website set up, just using the Occupational Safety and Health acronym. -alliance.co.uk. That's set up. There's an inquiries line on that. And the one thing to look out for by the end of this year is the Alliance's white paper on mental health.
Well, we will definitely be covering that in HSM. It'll be all over the website, in the magazine. We look forward to covering that. And Alan, obviously, your primary role is CEO of the British Safety Industry Federation. Everyone on here is going to be familiar with BSIF, but while I've got you, I always ask you this question. Why should people become a member of the BSIF?
Well, in many ways, being a member of the BSIF authenticates people's position in the safety and health market. They get an opportunity to participate in the Registered Safety Supplier Scheme, which is a quality assurance for users and consumers, specifiers and purchasers of PPE, and the members and the registered safety suppliers work hard to make sure that they're providing fit for purpose, good personal protective equipment that will add something to people's well-being.
Now, we've got a lot to work together on over the coming months. We are, in a couple of months' time, going to press with the annual BSIF guide to UK health and safety market. You're working hard on the content for that, and it's a busy job, that one. It's a monster of a magazine, and I know one that our listeners enjoy getting. If you aren't getting the magazine, HSM and the BSIF guide, you can register to do so for free on our website, hsmsearch.com. You can throw into a search engine Health and Safety Matters that will come, and you can actually look at the last 3 years' guides digitally for free in the magazine section. But one thing that Alan and I worked on very closely from years ago is we jointly set up the Safety and Health Excellence Awards. And the BSIF categories, the BSIF Awards, have been long established, very prestigious awards, and have been going for many, many years. And they are really the crown jewel of these awards. And we ran the awards this year in April, and we sold out. 750 people attended, and we had 280 entries. And all summer, I've had nothing but emails and messages from people listening to this saying, when are the awards opening again? Well, you've probably noticed, but if you haven't, the 2024 awards entries are now accepting entries on the Safety and Health Excellence Awards categories. I'd strongly urge you to enter. It's free to do so. Go into she-awards.com or throw into a search engine Safety and Health Excellence Awards. I mean, the funny thing was, Alan, at your BSIF networking day, we'd open the entries to announce that to your members at the networking day with no fanfare. And we'd already had 5 entries to putting up for as well. People were actually waiting for us to refresh the page. The question I've got for you here is, awards are important to BSIF. You've had your own awards. You've partnered with us for years on this now. I know why we set up an awards together, but I don't think I've ever asked you publicly, why are award schemes like this, the BSIF Awards and the Safety and Health Excellence Awards, important? Well, why is it something that you've been so supportive of and involved over the years?
Sure, it's very interesting. I think most people in the safety and health industry are incredibly proud of the work that they do. It's in the main, it's for a better or a bigger purpose, a wider cause, and the awards are an opportunity to really celebrate that. And I think what we saw at the awards this year were economic operators, manufacturers, and users of safety coming together and celebrating that.
I think, the awards we've run for 5 years together now, and they've grown and grown in entries and they've grown in terms of attendance. But I think seeing that room, that packed room of 750 people really celebrating excellence in the sector, coming together, networking, it was probably everything that you and I always envisioned it was meant to be, wasn't it?
Oh,
Because
100%.
we really felt that this market wasn't celebrated enough for the important work it does of keeping people safe. And it's something, I always say this, I actively say it. As much as I love doing a podcast and running this business, the single most enjoyable part of my job is opening these awards and then seeing the excitement for people when they're shortlisted. And that shows just how important it is that people are recognised. And for those of you listening, I'd encourage you to enter for a few reasons. This is a brilliant way to get yourself, and you can self-nominate, a team member, a team, your organisation or supply chain, anyone, a partner, you can nominate them. And it really does mean something to people. That recognition means a lot. I see it within my own staff, where we're very lucky that we've just been shortlisted for some awards, the BSIF Guide and for Health and Safety Matters in publishing awards, and we're very proud of that. But the same thing transcends into this sector. This is a great way to not only give motivation to your team, or get yourself deserved recognition, I might add, but actually there's nothing better than getting recognition from your peers. And it's the judges that make the decision, and Alan is a judge. This is a great way to actually raise awareness and share the great things that you're doing. So I would strongly urge you to enter. You've got until February to do so. Go to the Safety and Health Excellence Awards website, throw that into a search engine, or www.she-awards.com. And Alan, before we go, if people want to find out more information about the British Safety Industry Federation, I know you have a website. This is your chance to say, how can I get in touch and look to become a member?
Yeah, please do. So all the W's, bsif.co.uk is the website. I use our inquiries at bsif.co.uk email line, and we'd love to tell you more.
Then Alan, as always, thanks for joining us. It's great to see you.
Thanks.
And that's all we've got time for on this edition of the Health and Safety Matters podcast. My thanks to our guest on this episode, Alan Murray, from the British Safety Industry Federation. So like I said a few times in this podcast, you do not need to wait for this podcast to get all the latest news, prosecutions, products and services from the health and safety sector. Go to our website, hsmsearch.com, and you can see it all there. You can sign up to get our twice-a-week e-newsletter, look at all of our upcoming, or look at our on-demand webinars for free there as well. Or you can register to get our magazine, Health and Safety Matters, for free. So please do go to our website or follow us on X or LinkedIn. Our thanks again to the Health and Safety event for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. And as I have said, their event takes place on the 30th of April until the 2nd of May 2024 at the NEC in Birmingham. But you're free to attend, and your ticket, if you register for free, will also get you access to the fire safety event. It will also get you access to the security event and the workplace event. And you can register your interest to attend for free at healthandsafetyeevent.com. So all I have to say is thank you for joining us on this edition of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do use social media to give us your feedback using the hashtag HSMPodcast. Please do leave us a positive review and feedbacks on whatever platform that you are watching this or listening to this podcast on. And we look forward to welcoming you back next time on the next edition of the Health and Safety Matters podcast.